Hey everybody, Colin Gray from the Australian Rock Show podcast and Vicious Kitten Records, and that's a song from the new album by Mick Pealing and Nick Charles, which is this one called Songs from This Town. And we're going to do a little bit of a video review of that album today, and I'll tell you why I think it's such a fantastic record. For the unacquainted, Mick Pealing and Nick Charles are both members of Stars, the iconic Australian 70s country rock band who have been back together for 5 years now and have released 2 highly acclaimed albums. Boundary Rider, which is that one, and One More Circle Around the Sun, which is that one. Now, Mick Pealing and Nick Charles have also been performing around Melbourne as an acoustic duo, playing a set of extremely appealing original roots blues material that has at last long seen the light of day on their brand new album, Songs from This Town. You know, some of us can recall when the first half of the 1970s was the heyday for introspective songwriting and close harmony singing. Bands like America, Cat Stevens, Jim Croce, Dan Fogelberg, etc. A few decades on, Songs from This Town taps into that same well without sounding anything but contemporary. The result is an impressive set of original songs with wide appeal for any fan of blues, folk, country, bluegrass, Americana, etc. The album opens with the upbeat blues shuffle of For Granted, catchy acoustic tune highlighted by some slick acoustic guitar texture, with Pealing and Charles sharing singing duties on the verses. Stop and Smell the Roses While You Have the Time. This is an infectious opening tune. Love is a Gift, the song we just heard, is a colossal song with huge radio appeal. Super catchy, clean and strong vocal delivery, sing-along harmonies and violin on top. It's a neat little guitar lick underscores the whole thing. Some subtle mandolin too, all set to positive lyrical imagery that love is the only way. The light in the dark. Some blue ribbon songwriting on display here. If Paul Kelly released this, the pundits would be falling over themselves. Enough said about that. The plaintive, heartaching country is a captivating tribute to the country music genre without parody or condescension, and a good example as any to highlight some of the musical elements in the Pealing and Charles songwriting arsenal. Pealing's strong and distinct vocals intertwine with Charles's acoustic guitar tapestry without dominating each other. You mix in the other instruments, some pedal steel, delicate violins, multi-layered harmonies and a lush arrangement, and you start to see why this album is just that little bit special. The blend of mandolin and harmony vocals on the middle 8 is quite exquisite. Long Road Home uses the metaphor of a steam train to reflect on life's journey, looking back and waiting for that train to take you home again, back to a better time. This is a catchy and melodic tune characterized by strong lyrical imagery that forces the listener to contemplate, ponder, or drift away. Pun intended there. Musically, it's lifted by Pealing's resonant vocal and Charling's exceptional picking style. Next up is the stunning Hiding in Plain Sight. This song is nothing short of sublime. Why don't we hear a little bit of this song, Hiding in Plain Sight. Here we go. This was the first single from the record.
There's a world out there, people making wrong turns.
This song to me is nothing short of sublime, with echoing guitars that slide behind bold, strong vocals. It's a beautiful song and it's superbly crafted. It's part roots folk, part early 70s California soft rock, which is a compliment. It's thematically poignant with weeping pedal steel that virtually expresses its own emotion. The expression and feel in Nick Charles's solo leaves me without superlatives. Again, this is all testament to the caliber of the songwriting team of Pealing and Charles. God's Got It In For Me has a ton of melodic sensibility, from its satirical lyrical philosophy to its catchy sing-along chorus, with Charles's likeable finger-picking front and centre. The chorus is one of those earworms that sticks in your head and you'll be singing it sort of days later. Musically, the common denominator to every track on Songs from This Town are Mick Pealing's defined vocal delivery and Nick Charles's acoustic guitar and finger-picking style. Both are masters of their craft, yet Pealing's use and understanding of phrasing and melody is a joy to listen to. Charles's feel and expression in his playing constantly engages the listener. Thematically, many of the songs on this album have a deliberate, reflective quality, looking back on life and the road well travelled. Whether that's to do with getting older, relationships, indulging in memories, times now past, or sage commentary on the state of the world. Thinking back on a world and times less complicated, pre-pandemic, when dystopia was only ever imagined in an Orwell novel. You get the point. As with Love is a Gift, on the song More Love, which we're listening to now, the message is a positive one. And that is that love and only love will endure. Hate is everything you think it is. Words by the great Neil Young there, yet a message clearly evident on this wonderful interpretation of Tim O'Brien's tune from 2000, and a song that reached new audiences in 2020 during lockdown due to its message of goodwill, without sounding corny or trite in any way. Musically, this is an intermingling of Mick Pealing's rich, smooth vocal and Charles's tasty guitar, augmented nicely by some violin. There's a lot to like about this one too. Shadowtown is a punchy bluegrass number with violin and finger picking interlocking sweetly on a tune reminiscent of a vintage bird song. Sing-along chorus, violin solo, harmony vocals, lots of hooks. This is an instant classic. I had to check the songwriting credit to make sure it actually wasn't a McGuinn Clark composition. Now, this town is written in the folk storyteller style. Like the other tunes on this record, lyrically, it's reflective, evocative muse on the past. It's poignant, evocative, and highlighted by pedal steel, sweet harmonies, and Mick Pealing's fine, bold voice. Nick Charles takes lead vocals on the final track on the record, which we'll hear here. It's a blues song called Wasteland of the Blues. It's written about and during the lockdown of 2020. Beautifully played, showcasing his fine finger-picking technique. You know, you need to remember that for every John Mayer, Tommy Emmanuel or Don Ross out there, just remember that there also exists an unassuming player down Melbourne way who has built a hard-earned reputation as Australia's virtuoso of acoustic blues and roots guitar. Go and see Nick Charles live or pick up any of his albums. You won't be disappointed. Folks, this is an album rich with melodies and emotion and heartfelt songs that really strike a chord, if you excuse the pun. There's nothing pretentious, nothing overplayed, all top shelf. From the songwriting, to the playing, to the vocals and harmonies, to the production, to the use and placement of instruments that really enrich and add colour to each song. Particularly the pedal steel, violin and mandolin. Stupendous is not a word that I use lightly, but with this album, I think it's apt. With songs from this town, Mick Pealing and Nick Charles have created an album of acoustic country classics and a stellar collection of memorable songs. Folks, this is highly recommended. Songs from this town is available from the website, which is peelingcharles.com, a website that also lists all the upcoming tour dates. There's also a 20-minute film by Chris Franklin available on YouTube that looks at the making of this album and the story behind the songs. Also, be sure to check out charlesguitar.com for all Nick Charles's albums and solo dates, and also mickpealing.com to keep up to date with all of Mick's upcoming gigs, including with Raw Brit. Mick also hosts a very engaging radio show every Monday night called Country Miles, which is available to listen to online as well. Check out mickpealing.com for all the details. Not to mention starsofficial.com, which has all the latest news and upcoming shows for Stars. You can purchase the aforementioned Boundary Rider and One More Circle Around the Sun LPs from that site. Folks, I appreciate your time today. Be sure to go and check out this record. Thanks for watching today. Also, check out all the previous episodes we've done on the Australian Rock Show podcast. Also on our YouTube channel, there's a bunch of stuff there for you to dig into. But today is the day for Mick Pealing and Nick Charles. My name is Cowboy Cole. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch up with you another time.